Hello everyone, and as usual, as you can see, it's been the first Saturday. Along with third Saturdays, you'll get new ones of these, and today, well, a few days ago, it hit Saturday, the first Saturday of the month. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the, I won't say review, it's a comparison video of Sailor Moon Crystal 3. Episode 3. But technically, I can't really compare the episode 3 of Sailor Moon because, as you can see, sadly, in the second video I just did of this, Sailor Mercury showed up in episode 6. So, yeah. So that means that here, instead of, I did it again. Not episode 6, it's episode 8. Man, episode 8. That's when she showed up. Anyways, so here's what we got today. So we have Sailor Mars showing up. And if you guys were following the original one, you noticed that she came in episode 10. And this is exactly episode 10. So basically, if you're checking it out right now and you actually are like, I want to follow exactly how they're going with the old series, you'll be watching episode 1, then episode 8, then episode 10. That's how the sequence is going. Of course, everyone should know, it's already clear that they're going by the manga and not the anime. This is not really truly a reboot, but it's a retelling of Sailor Moon with more continuity to the manga. With that said, and let's get on with the episode, shall we? This episode, more than anything, actually shows the alternate take of episode 10 of Sailor Moon. Why would I say that? It's more clear just the fact of it's the same exact telling, and previously you had Sailor Mercury's episode, and that one's spot on. That's spot on the same as the series itself, except with some little teeny tiny details. This time, there is too much details to actually say, oh my gosh, how they changed. But I'm going to list most of them, and if I missed any of them, it's just because it's so long of a list. Well, anyways, let's get on with it, shall we? So, their mission is to eliminate and not gather energy. Yeah, so with the Dark Kingdom, I'm going to quote them as Dark Kingdom because that's what the first one was. They call themselves. So their mission is to eliminate the Sailor Scouts. That's what the mission was. It wasn't actually gathering energy. So far, there's really no clear reason why they have the monsters out there, even though there was the first episode. Yeah, the first episode did prove how they were like, oh yeah. But now it's kind of like more of leading, where's the silver crystal? We got to look for this legendary silver crystal, which in the original series they did say where's the original crystal, but it was like later on. This one's a bit more rushed. They truly want to look for that silver crystal and the princess, but more than anything the silver crystal. So that's what the bad guys want to do right now, is eliminate the Sailor Scouts so they can continue on with the silver crystal and not be bothered by them. So let's get to the first part. The first part, when you first see the episode, when it comes to Usagi, is that Usagi actually is in school, asleep, while Luna somehow is in her class with her, which you come to the point of saying, how the frick does that work? So you're telling me that the teacher actually allows a cat to be in her class? I mean, given, yes, it could have came out of the window, crawled up the wall, come in the window, but it seems to me that it was with her this time. It was truly with her, and it kind of brought that question that kind of blinded me. I was like, okay, so why is the cat in there, really? But anyways, Luna overheard her classmates talking about the rumor of the ghost bus, or the demonic bus, or the bus of whatever street he was going to. I'm sorry I didn't get that part, but hey, it's easy to find that. But anyways, yeah. So in the original one, it turns out that she wasn't at school when they were talking about it. technically the glasses kid, which I'm going to call him the glasses kid because no one really cared about him in the series anyways. But anyways, the glasses kid was not with her in the original one. It turns out that it was just a bunch of her girls, a bunch of her female student friends, female classmates, and they were all in the bus stop, and they were talking about it then. Yeah, it wasn't at school, and Luna wasn't even with her. So it's kind of like, wow, that's spot on different. But anyways, as I said, the silver crystal's being pushed, but in the original one, you had Jadeite. I'm gonna try to say his name now. Jadeite. And Jadeite was working at REI's place, and that's how we know who Jadeite is. It's the fact that he was working in her place when the original one was happening. And also, it was the amulets, which are very effective. And the amulets, Jadeite actually put a curse on them, make sure that they're able to get the girls in a trance and their love get absorbed, or, well, it's basically the next guy who actually makes their love reach its peak and take its energy. Instead, they're just trying to take their love energy and use it. Oh, anyways, let's continue on. So they cut out the true meeting place of REI, which was in REI's place, because it was basically Serena Usagi who actually said, "Hey, isn't there the shrine place? Yeah, isn't the shrine place by there?" And then they checked it out, and that's where they meet REI. Well, I think Usagi went first, and the birds didn't attack her, but in this one, the birds actually attack, which is kind of crazy. But anyways, let's continue on, shall we? So, along with a few things, it's kind of like you see the shrine, yeah, but you don't get introduced to her grandpa. That's interesting. Her employer, in quotations. So her grandpa, she lives with her grandpa, and her grandpa is kind of, I'm not going to say a perv, but I'm going to say more of a Brock type. The fact that every single girl he goes near, he flirts with, even if they're young age or he's older than them. So I get why they cut him out. But on the other hand, I bet it might have just been added in. So it's not really truly sure, because technically I bet you guys know better than me. So yeah, if the grandpa was in the manga, go ahead and tell me. But other than that, I think it might have just been, he just been added on the anime. But chances are, I bet it might be both. But yeah, so anyways, next up is just to school. Well, let me talk about how they met her in the newest one. And in the newest one, she was on a bus with them, the other two, with Amy and Usagi. And they both looked at her and said, "Wow, she's so beautiful. Could she be the princess?" And you had Usagi staring at her too much. And yeah. So you had that, and Amy told Usagi where she goes to school at, along with Luna. I think Luna was there too. So with that said, technically they didn't even know in the original series. In the original series, it was REI who actually told them, "Yeah, I go to a all-girls school." Yeah. So it's kind of like it was revealed sooner than it was, just like what happened previously. But anyways, let's continue on. So they got rid of him. Yeah, I already talked about it. The grandpa, they got rid of him. It's likely because of they wanted to make it more of a good series instead of being like the past series, which I'm not going to get into the details of what truly messed up it is or whatever. Let's continue. So there is no love charms or amulets. Yeah, everyone knows. Yeah, they cut out Jadeite completely. Jadeite is just known for doing this whole entire setup, but he wasn't actually hired by them. He actually has done it on his own, and there is no monster, which in the previous series, it was actually a monster driving the bus, and the bus actually was going in. Yeah, it was actually flying into a vortex. Yeah, so it was a monster actually was driving it. This time it was just Jadeite who was driving it, because he was using it for a very evil plan. But anyways, so yeah, no love charms, no amulets, but the amulets were used to blame for the missing girls, which technically were when it comes to Jedi holding them and putting his kanji on them or his spell. And now let's get to Rei. So Rei, sorry. I'm just gonna go by Rei because I know her by that. So Rei as a character is different. There's no more Usagi or no more Serena and Rei fighting anymore. Yeah, there was no fights of them because notice in the previous series, Serena and Rei got along, but they didn't get along very, very good. Or maybe they did. It's kind of like with Digimon with Ty and Matt. The fact that there was one episode where they both rustled around and punched each other. Yeah. It's kind of like that, except they didn't even punch each other. They just argued. So, yeah. But in this one, Rei has a lack of confidence. Yeah, she seriously does, which is amazing. Next up is the Watch/Communicators from the arcade, a mystical game. So, yet again, they're continuing on with this theme of every time... That's funny. Well, anyways, every time she played the arcade game, she actually won something. This time, she won 2 wrist communicators. One for herself and one for Amy. And basically, they got rid of the Palm Pilots. That's how they contacted each other in the first original series. Is that they actually had a Palm Pilot and they had contact with each other. Which I do have to admit that with the Palm Pilots, we don't even remember when they get the Palm Pilots. Because I was trying to think, when did they get the Palm Pilots? And yeah. And this one, they actually really get detailed on it. They actually are like, yeah, here's the wrist communicator. They have them now. This is how they got it. Instead of the original one that they're like, well, why not that they have something to communicate with them? Just don't ask where it came from. It might have been Luna. Chances are it was Luna, but whatever. So, we also get to see Darien for the first time, or Mamoru. I'm going to say Darien, even though it's just too good of a name to actually say, oh, Mamoru is a very, very good name. Yeah, good job, Good job, Viz Media. Good idea. Mamoru, sorry, is a better name than Darien. Good job. But anyways, yeah. So we get introduced to Darien for the first time ever because, yeah, the first 2 episodes we did see Tuxedo Knight, and we have seen Darien walking around in a tuxedo and with glasses. But this time we actually get to see his identity, his cover-up. So this time he is a high school student. Yes. In the original series, he actually was a college student. Yeah, so I think technically it was a 4-year difference between them. Maybe even more than that. But, yeah. So, let's continue on. To expanded her childhood. Yeah, this series actually expanded on Rei's childhood. The fact of she got mysterious powers when she was very little. And people look at her cold because of it. Which is kind of funny that if you look back in the original series, it's basically Jedi, and when she's trying to figure out what was the evil presence that she can sense, or where's the evil presence coming from, she basically made a note to herself saying, Jedi, or basically she says, that guy, he's looking at me coldly. Maybe that's where they got that idea from. But anyways, yeah, so like I told you previously, Jedi was the driver instead of the mysterious woman / the monster. Is way different from the episode than the original, which is so true. Also, there's no flying car, and they basically rush into this. Yeah, they rush into it. They have to make sure Usagi gets on that bus. So Usagi basically transformed herself into a nurse. I believe that was a nurse costume that she had, the one that she used in episode 2. But in this version, she actually... in the original version, she actually dressed up as a flight attendant disguise. And she tried to get on the bus, but she kept on crying and everything. And when she finally got on the bus, yeah, it was good. Yeah, she finally got on the bus, and then it lifted off and everything. And the monster was like, ah, and everything. Anyways, we'll continue reading. It's crazy that Usagi was also who was caught. Oh yeah. So yeah, in this one it was Usagi and it was Luna who got caught. In the original one, it was Usagi and Luna who got caught in the bus. This time Rei got freaking tossed in there. Yeah, no. Rei was just tossed in there. Rei was put asleep and everything. Yeah. With that said, how did Rei get into the dimension in the original one? Oh, it's simple. It's that as soon as Jedi was like, oh crap, she knows that I'm evil, he freaking pushed her into a vortex he created on himself and summoned, and then she just fell in there. Alright, let's continue on. So, oh yeah, and the birds were sent with her. Yeah, so her pet birds was also thrown in the vortex as well. Unlike in the newest one where it was just her and not the birds. So they basically used the kidnapping of all the girls as a trap instead of what there originally was, which was just draining their love energy so they can power up their dark master. So it was Amy and Luna who was teleported there. It was Usagi who just jumped on the bus at the end of the bus, and I forgot to mention the fact of this time the bus does not fly. Yeah, there's a difference. In the original one, the bus actually flew into the vortex. And this newest one, they just showed the bus getting drove into the vortex, which I do have to admit is kind of better than the original one. I mean, it's not as far-fetched, but I think it's just funny just seeing that that bus hovering up there to get into the vortex. It's kind of funny. And not only that, but this is the third bus. In the original one, it was the third bus that they actually captured. Yeah. So, let's continue on. The other scouts stay with their motto. Yeah, so basically, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that the pin that Rei got. So, let's see. In the original one, Luna poofed up a pin for Rei to use. But in the newest one, Luna actually left her pin. She left her Mars pin, transformation pin, on the ground so she can find it. Yeah, so this time, no actually using the video game to actually be like, oh yeah, she has to go to the video game place to get her pin and play that game. Instead, it's more like Luna had a hunch and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to her and see if she's who I think she is. So anyways, yeah, so when she transformed, I loved the transformation song. Her transformation theme was very, very good, better than the other one. It was more diverse, which I think you do deserve to have some diverse stuff in there. And so let me just mention, I think it was episode 24. Yep, in episode 24, this is when we actually get the first time that Sailor Mercury and Sailor Mars get to actually have their own motto, or their own battle cry, I guess you can say. Like, for instance, Sailor Moon had, in the name of the moon, I shall punish you, or in the name of the moon, I will protect, love, and punish you, or punish whoever disturbs it, and stuff like that. In this one, yeah, I mean, the old one, they basically just said the same thing, except all the way to episode 24, where they both actually have their own things to say. So in this time, she actually does have she has her motto. Sailor Mercury said her motto as well. And it's different. So she basically said she will chastise you and stuff. But in the original one, it was, in the name of Mars, I'll discipline you. So yeah, some different stuff here. Or it could be a different translation. I'm not sure. Alright. Let me just read these last 4 things. And then one more. And then I'll be done. And everything said. So the pet birds actually attacked in the original in the original series. The birds actually attacked Serena, and no, sorry. In the newest one, the birds actually attacked her. In the old one, it was more like, excuse me, Ray was actually trying to sense danger or sense the darkness, and because of that, she hit Serena. And when she hit Serena with the, I'm sorry, I don't really know what it is. I would say scroll. When she hit Serena with the scroll, enchanted scroll, she sensed something, and that's what happened. And the birds sensed it too, but it's only in the newest version that the birds actually added a touch of actually attacking her. And yeah. In the newest one, there was less crying and less scared Usagi. Because in the old original one, you basically had Usagi holding a pole saying, "Oh my gosh, I changed my mind, I'm so scared," and everything. So, yeah. I guess that's a big plus to actually see Usagi not cry and cringe, but I do have to admit, it would be kind of funny. Yeah, it would be kind of funny if I didn't do a marathon of it or whatever. Okay, next up is Tuxedo Mask. Tuxedo Mask did show up in sorry, not in the third episode, but in the original episode, Tuxedo Mask did show up. He did help Sailor Moon, or no, technically, it's at the end he showed up. Because they were like, oh crap, how in the freaking world are we going to get back? And it was Sailor Mercury who was left behind, and she was praying with her pendant for them to have a safe travel. And because of that, she was able to send a beam where the beam was going to teleport them back to where they were. And that's how they came back, but they needed someone to drive the buses. And guess who was driving it? It was none other than Tuxedo Mask. He basically tied the 3 buses together. He tied 2 buses on 1 bus, and he was driving them, and that's how it happened. And the other 3 jumped in with the portal too, and they're now back home. And this newest one, they basically did not use that. It's more the fact of Luna and Sailor Mercury actually tracked down her pinpointed area, and then they teleported there. And chances are that means that they were able to teleport back, and that's how they got back. Yeah, pretty interesting. And that's basically it. But there's no intro with the other 2 main sailors. So that means that, like what we had for the first 3, first you had the first episode, and then they hinted at Amy, and then the second episode, and they hinted at Rai. I would say Rai. And this one, they didn't say anything. Yeah, there was nothing at the end. This time, I think there actually will be nothing but adventures all the way to the next one. So for right now, I think this will be, I'm not going to say smooth sailing, but I'm just going to say it most likely will be compatible with the rest of the series now. I think. But of course, hey, I could be fooled wrong. They still have to deal with Jedi and defeating Jedi, which is unknown right now of Jedi's fate. He could have been destroyed by Rey and Usagi, but on the other hand, he could have escaped. But we didn't see him actually escape and say, "Next time, Sailor Scouts, I will get you." So we didn't see any of that. So for right now, we're just going to have to say he might be still alive. So thank you for listening, and well, it's like very, very new. This is like a very new episode on its own. So yeah, thank you for listening. I'm webbing out. See you later, and stay tuned for episode 4. And also, down below you can watch the episode. It's on Hulu and it's on Crunchyroll. Whichever way you roll, go for it. All I have to say is Hulu is kind of being a total twitchy. Or should I say it's kind of like being Serena from the Cartoon Network era of Sailor Moon. Her voice is just so horrible, which is just like what freaking Hulu's doing right now. But whichever you choose, Hulu or Crunchyroll, It's your call. Go watch it. I think it's a very good episode on its own. Even if you complain about, oh my gosh, no Tuxedo Mask, it's still a good episode. Definitely go watch it, and I'll be back for more. See you later. The Whip.